Welcome to February's journal page. Had a lot of activity this month, not a lot of game playing. Did have a few purchases. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. So February was a pretty busy month here on Solitary RPG. I didn't get a lot of games in, but I was busy with a lot of other activities, and I did make a few purchases throughout the month, and I wanted to share them with you. So let me clear my table off, and we'll just jump into this video. So some of you might be familiar with this particular Wolfkin model. This is the Wolfkin pose from Dragonbane from Free League. And this was sent to me from Rob over at Adventures with Dice. I'm just starting to put down some base coats on this model. Rob gave me a big shout out on his channel in the month of February because I sent him a Dragonbane dice tray. He had reached out to me asking if I would make one for him for his Dragonbane games. And I just sent him the one I made on the channel because it was a little bit too big for what I wanted as a solo player. It was a big dice tray, and it was perfect for like a group game. So I went ahead and sent that to him along with an RPG that I thought he'd be interested in. And in return, he printed up all the STL files he has for Dragonbane, because this is a subscription service that he belongs to where every month he gets new models, and he did a favor for me, so I was like, yeah, sweet. So this is just where I'm at with it. It's just all base coated. I still need to decide what color I'm going to do on top of the rock and get the rock painted and do some basing material, but I'm just getting down some coats. One of my painting techniques is to use like these new contrast paints or speed paints and different things like that, just to lay down some color so I can get an idea where my highlights are naturally on the model, and makes it a lot easier to paint. And I'm just having some fun with this. Really love this model. All the ones that he sent me are fantastic. But this is the one I've started painting because I really want to have this on my table as a display model. So there we are with that. One of the things Rob mentioned during the video is he didn't share my name because I don't really share my name on the channel. Not really because of any particular reason, I just don't do it. My name is Mike, so if anybody ever wanted to reach out, you can just call me Mike. One of the other things is you don't really see my face in my videos, and there's a reason for that. Is I record these videos at 6:38 in the morning right now, and I haven't taken a shower. I haven't done anything. This is just the time that works for me for recording videos because my neighborhood is quiet, my house is quiet, and I can get better audio quality. But just for those of you that might be interested, this is me. Hello. And as you can see behind me, here's my mess. So I'm kind of pulling back the curtain. You can see my hobby desk, and you can see the mess that is my room. But yeah, usually I don't share videos of myself because I haven't taken a shower, haven't done anything. I just kind of woke up, and that's when I record my videos. So yeah, I'm not going to show my face in my videos, but that's, for a reason. But yeah, so big thank you to Rob. I'm going to put a link in the video description to his video where he did the unboxing of the Dragonbane dice tray, because you can see the pure excitement in his eyes, and you can hear it in his voice when he opens up the box and he sees the tray. So I'll put a link in the video description. So let's move on to some other news. In the month of February, I recorded a video about the degloved hand, and I was surprised one morning to wake up and find that Exalted Funeral had shared that video on one of their updates. And I really thought this was cool. It had a big impact on the channel. The video got, for me, a lot of views. It didn't break, I don't even think it broke 500, but still it got a lot of views, and it was just nice to have the video shared. There was actually a comment from the company that produced it on the video. So it's kind of nice to know that some of the work that I do gets seen by the creators of the products that I review and talk about. And for it to be shared on Exalted Funeral was just kind of a nice little, I don't know, feather in the cap type situation to have that done. But yeah, so that for me was super exciting. And then again, this is just your cool little updates from Exalted Funeral, which is one of my favorite RPG companies to buy stuff from. Another cool thing that happened this month is I did a review of the Deck of Destiny. This is a game where I had some concerns with the rules. I didn't know if I was quite playing them right or anything like that. And the author or the creators of the game actually saw the video, which was cool, and made some changes to the rules just to provide some better clarification and put an updated PDF out of the rules. So I had to print it out and put it in my printed book. But again, seeing some of the work that I'm doing get recognized by content creators and shared is always cool. And I like it. Like Jay over at Shield Eye Studios shares a lot of my work that I do on his products, and also Head Psycho Cheese. I review a lot of the products and it gets shared. So it's nice to see that the work that I'm doing can help change games as well. Some cool stuff there. It was nice to see that. Another thing that took up some of my time during the month is my buddy Jeff and I did a painting weekend. And what we did is we spent the entire weekend just painting models. And one of the reasons we do this is to kind of help show people, if you really focus on a project, you could take a weekend and get an army painted or get a good portion of an army painted. Here you can see I've got my Legion Imperialis models painted up from Games Workshop. This is half of the starter box of infantry models and sentinels and tanks, and in the background you can see a little knight, and further back you can see the bottom half of a Warhound Titan and a couple Baneblades. And we just spent the whole weekend painting and streaming. So during the weekend we streamed 6 different times. We stream at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, and it was all of like progress reports. Where are we at? What did we get done? How did we do? And all that kind of stuff. This was a particularly challenging model. Not a lot of colors, not a lot of techniques used in painting these models because their size, they're super small. Just a lot of eye strain, which caused some headaches for me because you're painting small models, and I've got like not like a magnifying lens hood on, so it's just hard when you're painting under magnification, and then when you look away at something else you get all kinds of blurred vision and things like that. And it's just, I was doing it for hours on end, so I was basically painting 10 to 11 hours a day getting this stuff done. So it was a lot of fun, but that was a whole weekend, and then there was a bunch of time leading up to it with doing some prep at my desk, clearing off some other projects and things like that. And speaking of some of those other projects, I finished up a couple more of the next level miniatures that I've been promoting a lot on my channel because I'm really liking this company and I like these models. So I finished a little, I don't know, we can call it a cleric for this guy. And I'm sorry, my video's not the greatest on them. But there's my cleric. There's a little orc. I finished these up. Next Level Miniatures also recently launched the Kickstarter and put more models up for pre-order. So I went ahead and purchased some more models from them because they got the wizard and the giant rats, like the zombie rats, out, and a bunch of other stuff from a previous Kickstarter. And they're launching yet another Kickstarter, which is kind of how the miniature world of Kickstarter works, is you get a project out and then you start your next project. And it sounds like they're doing some rescaling work on some of their models and adding a few new things. So I'm not backing the Kickstarter because it's just a lot of stuff that I don't need. I'm really only picking up the models from them that I need to fulfill my Hero Quest game needs. And there's a few things in there, but not enough for me to back a Kickstarter and have more random models sitting around my house, where I already have enough random models sitting around my house. I also finished a cool little car for Gaslands. One of my favorite games is Gaslands, and I have tons of Hot Wheels sitting around. And this was a project that I started. It's the front half of a Volkswagen bus and the back half of a Volkswagen. So I had to cut 2 Hot Wheels in half, weld them together using like plasticard and things like that, puttying up all the seams and making a cool little Volkswagen bug bus. Anyways, just had some fun with it, so I finished up a project there. The other thing on the painting front is and this is what chewed up a lot of my time in February, that took me away from getting a lot of gameplay stuff in, is I took on a pretty important commission painting job that I cannot share, which has really consumed a lot of my time. So I haven't had a lot of time to do any gameplay, and I am working on a commission job. When I am able to share those models with you, it'll be in one of these journal page videos like this, and I will show off all the models that I have been working on a lot in the last couple weeks, trying to paint them to a quality that I feel will photograph well, so they can be shared in the public. But with all that talk about miniatures, we might as well talk about Hero Quest. You probably saw the box at the beginning of the video. Yes, I collect everything that comes out for the current edition of Hero Quest. I never played this game when it came out originally, back in the day. Just it wasn't something that was played a lot locally, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to experience it. There's a lot of DNA between Hero Quest and Warhammer Quest, which I love Warhammer Quest. Hero Quest is just a little bit different, obviously, because it's like a board game style where you're not laying out dungeon tiles like in Warhammer Quest. It's just you're going from room to room. And it's just a cool game. It's not overly complicated. And the cards that recently came out from Axiom Quest allow solo play. Hopefully those cards eventually will expand into allowing us to get some of these expansion boxes to play solo, because this one's just really cool. There's tons of unboxings on this. If you're into Hero Quest, you already know what's inside of here. But I do have Hero Quest. I also have gripes about Hero Quest as well. One of these days I'll do a video just griping about all of the different size boxes that they put their products in, and the fact that they don't offer standees for this game, which, to be honest with you, I love miniatures. I love painting miniatures, but sometimes I just want a cardboard thing to put on the table so I can just play a game and not have to worry about painting miniatures. If you watched my video about Pocket Chronicles, you know that I am in the process of getting ready for a campaign, and part of that campaign is going to be world building, and I'm going to be using the Pocket Chronicles for that. Rob over at Artichoke Dip has been doing a video series about playing role-playing games, and he's actually doing a live play of role-playing games, and he's talked about town tables before on his channel, and I'm sure I've looked at it at one point, but I never pulled the trigger out on buying it, because I'm like, I don't need another book of tables, and I'm kind of just overwhelmed with all the ones that I already have. But since I am getting into world building, and he actually used it on the channel, and I kind of was like digging what he was doing with it, I went ahead and picked it up, and I'm kind of glad I did. So this is really going to be a great supplement to Pocket Chronicles, because the tables in Pocket Chronicles are more spark tables, words, things you can roll on and work on. This gets into a little bit more detail with that for towns, villages, but there's a whole portion on this about building the government and the different types of leadership, and it just kind of goes into the weeds a little bit more, giving me more than just words. There are a bunch of word name tables and things like that, but just giving me more information to work with so I can expand upon the tables that I roll on with Pocket Chronicles, and also supplement. So if I need to build a town, I have a little town builder or a village or anything like that. So just wanted to share. I got this off of Amazon. Lots of drink section in here if you're into drinking. It's just another source book that I'm going to be able to use for my games, and that's why I picked it up. It wasn't terribly expensive. So big thank you to Rob for sharing this on his channel again. Game Master Books of series. I think I have one for traps also, but there's all kinds of different ones, and you can see, well, maybe not see, bought it from Target 30% off, but actually got an additional 20% off because this book was damaged. So my wife and I were at Target for something, and I saw the book and I saw it was 30% off, and I was kind of flipping through it, and it has some world building stuff in it and some tables. I was like, okay, there's enough stuff in here that I feel I can use this. So I just picked it up, and as we were checking out, and I had to scan the code here, because these days we work for big chain corporate America, and we have to scan and bag our own stuff and be our own cashiers so that, I don't know, they can make more money and charge us more money. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't like self-checkout. I oppose self-checkout. But sometimes you're just stuck using it, and I hate it. Anyway, off that rant. So when I was scanning it, I noticed this big old rip up here. And I was like, I don't want this now because it's ripped. It's damaged. Even at 30% off, I don't want to deal with that damage. So the one person overseeing the 8 registers for checkout, well, luckily wasn't busy helping all the other people. I walked up to him and said, hey, I'm not going to buy this, because I just didn't want to leave it at the self-checkout because I think that's rude. So I walked over to the guy to give it to him to let him know, hey, this is a damaged product. I don't want to buy it now. And I'm not going to walk back and get another one because I'm not that excited about it. And he was like, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll give you another 20% off. So we'll do the 30% off, and then whatever the balance is on the 30% off, I'll give you another 20% off. And I was like, all right, for that price, this book might be a great video on top of a resource, because I'll do a video about the possibility of how to fix this. There's something wrong with the binding. If you open it up, you can hear that cracking. This whole spine is just not glued in properly. Like, the glue isn't cured. It's all sticky. It has like that sticky glue sound to it. And so what I'll need to do is open this up. I have to take out all the text block, and then I'm going to have to reinforce. Ooh, you could hear that. I'm going to have to reinforce this from the inside to like glue some paper in and some cloth material in to reinforce all that, and then reinsert the text block and put in new end pages and all that kind of stuff. So it's just going to be a fun video project on how to repair this, because if this book is damaged from the retailer this way, that tells me that maybe this quality of paper just isn't that good, and maybe some other people have the same problem with one of their books. So it might be a great educational video. So that's what I'm going to work on. But yeah, so I think at the end of the day, I paid like $12 for the book. So for 12 bucks, I'll take a shot on it, make a video. If you don't see the video, that means the project went terribly wrong and I threw it all in the trash. So stay tuned. Fateforge. So I don't play D&D 5th edition on the channel. I don't really talk about it, but you know, it is the big giant gorilla in the gaming sphere. And Fateforge from Studio Gate, basically, I found a YouTube channel. The channel was saying, hey, look, all their books are free on DriveThruRPG. You can just go over there, look up Fateforge. All their books are free. Check it out. These are the only 2 that are available on Amazon. All the rest are available locally in the United States through Studio 2. But if you just want the free version, you can go to DriveThruRPG, download them for free. Kind of cool that a company's doing that, but I think they do it for a reason. It's a great marketing ploy, because you're not going to be able to print this stuff out. Like, the art in these books and the pages, everything is just laid out in a very old text. And once I opened up the PDFs and started scrolling through everything that they had to offer, I just fell in love with it. This is basically the magic system and the magic spells. But look at all this. Like, this is just gorgeous. The feel of the paper is amazing. It's not super like glossy, slick paper. It's right in the middle of like a satin finish paper, but it's just gorgeous. And this is the kind of book. Again, I'm going to do another shout out to Rob over at Artichoke Dip. He did a video about books and how they're part of the game and the world. How companies need to pay more attention to like Free League putting out gorgeous books that are we can actually make the book themselves part of the game because they look like they belong in the world, not that corporate art like you see in D&D. And this is just one of those companies doing that. Like this is just Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. This is the Grimoire. I had to switch the books around so I can kind of thumb through the rule book, but like this cover just makes me want to play this game. And when you just start getting into it and you start seeing all the art in this book and just these pages, like this is what Rob was talking about when he talked about how books can just pull you into the game. And I was really impressed by this this I was just impressed. Like everything the company was doing just impressed me. Just liked everything about it, and the art is just amazing. And I don't know, I had to buy them. These are the only two I could purchase on Amazon, but now that I have them, I'm gonna go ahead and collect the rest of the series. Am I gonna play the game? I don't know. It's D&D 5th edition. One of the things that Shadow Dark has kind of opened up by being put on the market because it's just a 5th edition clone is using supplements, using worlds, using material from other 5th edition products and just using the Shadow Dark rules. So I might toy around with that in this, but this world looks very interesting to me. I read through some of it and I was just like, I'm really digging this. And this isn't a great example of some of the independent stuff out there, the smaller publishing stuff out there. If you want to break away from D&D, but you still love playing D&D, well, Fateforge might be something you might be wanting to look at. It's a world. It's got all your characters. It's got all your stuff from D&D, just in a different world and a different setting, and you can just play it that way. Speaking of books adding to the immersion of gameplay, we need to talk about Crown and Skull. This is from Runehammer. This is his latest release, and to be honest with you, I think this is one of my favorite books in my collection. Artichoke Dip was talking about how some of these companies need to start looking at other publishers and what they're doing and how they're putting out books for people to buy, because books should be part of the immersion and they should pull you into the game. This one just it's just gorgeous. So let's take a quick look at it. I'm not going to do a dive on it like so many other things in my life. I'm getting ready for a game. I've been prepping for this game, and now this shows up on my doorstep. I don't have time. I can't stop what I'm doing now to play another game. I'm not a squirrel. Shiny objects, I got to avoid that stuff. So for right now, this is going to go on my shelf. I will read it when I get time because I've been doing a lot of painting, but I just love this book. The paper just feels like it is an old book. Like it's just a flat paper. It's, you can feel the texture on it. And as you're flipping through it, all the pages are kind of lined with some decorative border, but then it's just blocks of text. I just really like what Runehammer did here, because as you get into the center of the book, you will get into the illustrations. And it was just really a cool concept. Keep the pages to the point. This is how you play the game. Put all your fancy art in the center of the book, which is kind of a throwback to how older books were done back in the day, where it's just all text, and then in the center of that book you have some art for just the readers, and then you go back into reading. So it's just a kind of a little bit of throwback on how old books were made. which is just really cool. I just love all the art pages in the center. And I do have the PDF of this as well because I bought mine from Runehammer's store. And that way I got the PDF. And also on top of that, he sent like a bunch of other little files with the purchase. And one of the files he sent were PNG files for all the characters. So that way you have like a little PNG of just the character type that you're going to play. And if you have any of those character sheets where you have a place for the profile, if you've got it in a document that you can edit, you can just bring over those PNGs, pop that little file into that, print it out, and now you have some character art that will help with your game. Because I can't draw. I've never taken the time to learn how to draw. Like I took art classes as a kid. I was pretty good as a kid, but I've just never really stuck with it. It's just not my thing. There's a lot of channels that have amazing artists that I love, and I always watch them drawing, or I love looking at their results of their drawings, and I just think it's awesome. And it's just one of those skills I don't have. The fact that Runehammer did that, gave us these little clips for our character sheets that we can put on it. Fantastic. That was just a really good move on his part to offer that. So I loved it. And I'll probably be using that in some games in the future here. And then you have this great GM section going over just some advice. And then you just get into more the spells and the creatures and just everything. It's just a gorgeous book. And I think this is what Artichoke Dip was kind of alluding to in his video, that books should be more than just a place for rules. They should pull you into a game. They should get you excited to want to go play those games. And why can't they be used as part of the immersion on the table? I'd love, like, Forbidden Lands, all the books for that game feel like they belong in the world that you're playing, and this is another one that feels like it belongs in the world that I'm playing in. It's just great, and it's just one thing that I think companies need to start looking at. The idea of like corporate books, like the D&D books that are very, corporate, glossy paper. There's art, there's color and stuff, but it's just, I don't know, there's something not pulling you in because of whatever it. Personally, I think it's just because you see so much of it and you just kind of get bored with seeing it so much. But books like this, though, take it to that next level. This is a book that really just makes you want to play the game, get into the game, and just get lost in the world. So it wasn't cheap, but I could afford it. And to be honest with you, if the game provides me hours of entertainment, the cost is not even something worth talking about, because my entertainment is got value as well. And if this can add to that, I'll take it. So that was a look at everything I did in the month of February. You might notice a little bit of change on my camera angle. Also, I'm always trying to do little things to improve my video quality and my layouts. And my buddy Jeff recently renovated his streaming desk, and he found this great arm for holding the camera, and I picked one up because I thought I could get a little bit different angle. I'm always trying to get the glare of the light off my books. It's not always working. I still haven't come up with the perfect solution, but I'm always trying, and I'm always doing little things to improve. But that was February's journal page. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.